Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of Unit 3, the section where we work on sentences and also coming up with strong thesis statements. Today and tomorrow we're going to work on that latter part, the strong thesis statements. And I have a couple of exercises for you to do that I found helpful for a lot of folks. It doesn't work for everybody, but it's a way to generate ideas to get to where you can make a thesis statement that expresses a strong and surprising point. It's kind of the difference between a high school paper and a college paper. High school and junior high, it was okay to write papers that were just sort of reports about things. They would provide a lot of information and exercise good grammar, organize thoughts and ideas. But they didn't really, they don't really make a point or sort of advance our sense of any particular issue. And in college, the professors who are going to give you papers are going to be wanting you to use your analytical skills, your writing skills to craft papers that really say something new, that assert their own importance and give a new way to look at things. So one of the exercises that I like to use that I do with students every semester is what I call, why is blank important? Blank, of course, being the subject that you're writing about. And it's a very simple exercise. It requires some thought. It might kind of be frustrating at times, but if you do it right, there's a really good chance that you'll come up with a really provocative and interesting idea, which can serve as a basis for a college level paper. So the way it works is you start off by asking the question, why is blank, whatever subject that you're working on, important? So I'm just going to go through the exercise here with you very quickly, and I'm going to do it based on the free press, okay? We've been talking about the Constitution, and one of the amendments that a lot of you have written about as being important to you is the First Amendment, which of course covers a number of very important freedoms that we enjoy in the United States, but one of which is the freedom of the press. That Congress shall make no law that inhibits, that impedes freedom of expression in the free press. So I'll start with the question, why is the free press important? My first answer that pops in my mind, there's a lot of ways that I could answer it, is that one of the reasons why the free press is important is because it keeps the public informed. All right? So now, the way this exercise works is that you keep asking this question, why is blank important? Why is the free press important? And then when you make an answer to that question, then you ask the question again of the answer, okay? So why is it important to keep the public informed? And my immediate answer is because we're a democracy. So I'm just going to write this down. Because we're a democracy, we have a government for the people, by the people, and of the people. So the people need to be informed about what is going on in the government. So now I've got that answer. I'm going to go ahead and bold these so it kind of stands out a little bit. So why is that important? I'm going to just cut to the chase. So why is it important that we be informed about what is going on in the government? Two reasons, I'm going to say. One, we need to know I'll say it a different way. The more we know about what's going on, the better we'll be able to participate in democracy. And two, because I'm getting stuck here for a second. This is where it gets a little bit difficult. You kind of got to think through this. But what I'm trying to get at is because knowledge of what's going on keeps government in check. So I'm writing them pretty quickly. I could sort of expand on that, but I'm getting at the ideas, and the expansion is something that we can get into if and when this turns into a paper. But see how we're getting a little bit more in depth here? We're starting with keeps the public informed, but now we know that it's important because the government really in a democracy is us. It's a representative of who we are. And why is that important? The more we know about what's going on, the better we'll be able to participate in government, and two, because knowledge of what's going on keeps government in check. As I look back over this, I think there's some more thought that I want to address because I don't think I'm addressing all the things of what's important in this statement. And that is, why is it important that we're a government for the people, by the people, and of the people? So I'm going to say also, government of the people and for the people is the opposite of a dictatorship. And that's part of what allows us to be free and prevents the government from doing bad things. So I'm going to do two more questions, and this is what I want you to do for your work over the tonight, for your homework for tomorrow, is to ask 5 questions and see what you come up with at the end. Okay, so we're going to go with number 4. Why is that important? And here's where I really need to think, because we're getting into some deep thoughts here. So why is it important that that we'll be able to participate well in democracy and to have knowledge that keeps government in check and that a government of the people and for the people is an opposite of a dictatorship? It's part of what allows us to be free and prevents the government from doing bad things. Okay, now let me think about this. Why is that so important? Well, I think, when I really think about it, I think that the reason why this is important to me, why I believe this is important, is because I believe the human experience on Earth, and I'm going to say, I'm going to take out that I believe, because we want to go right in and remember that stuff about sentences, how you want to be direct and all that sort of thing. The human experience is about, and I'm going to go back here. See, this is where you got to kind of think through things and take your time. The most important aspect of the human experience is that we as humans learn and grow, learn and progress so that our lives can be better for all of us. Now that's kind of there's some vagueness in there, but what I'm trying to get at is that that this stuff that I'm talking about here in freedom of the press, to keep the government in check and to allow people to participate in democracy, that the most important aspect of our human experience is that humans learn and progress so that our lives can be better. I want to redo that. I'm just going to scrap that and start over because I don't think it's quitting quite to where I'm getting at. I'm going to say, because America is a beacon for freedom across the world, a great and noble experiment in allowing the people to determine their own destiny and work toward making their lives and the world, their lives better and the world a better place. All right, so now we're getting really deep here. Because America is a beacon for freedom across the world, a great and noble experiment in allowing the people to determine their own destiny and work toward making their lives better and the world a better place. And why is that important? Because as far as we know, we're the only intelligent life in the universe. We are precious. Our lives are precious. And we need freedom and self-governance to take full advantage of the preciousness of life. Okay. Wow. So now you see, in just 5 questions, we have gotten to a really interesting, deep, and provocative place. All right? So the next step is to take all these ideas and find a way to make one statement that feels really strong and true to us. But before we do that, I want to go back and say this exercise can go in a lot of different directions. All right? We could have started off with, instead of keeps the public informed, I could have jumped right into it keeps government in check. Why do we need to keep government in check? Because we know that humans have a tendency to drift toward greed or oppression or bad things, that sometimes we can take advantage of each other. And by keeping the government in check, we can make it so that there's equality and freedom all across the globe. But this is the direction that, so you'll find that how you ask the questions can kind of set you up down paths that you didn't expect. All right. So if I'm looking back over what we have here, the free press is important because we're the only intelligent life in the universe. We're precious, and we need freedom and self-governance to take full advantage of the preciousness of life. We also know that democracy, we see in here that democracy is key to our freedoms. So how would I put this together in a sentence? If we were all in the class together, I'd be asking you to come up with different ideas and that sort of thing. But here I'm on my own, and you're going to be on your own while you work on your own one. Freedom of press is a vital component of a government for the people and by the people. It keeps government in check, and by doing so, it allows Americans to fulfill the full and precious potential of life on Earth. Let's italicize that so it stands out. Freedom of the press is a vital component of government for the people and by the people, of democracy. Let's tighten that down to democracy, which, okay, it keeps government in check, and by doing so allows Americans to fulfill the full and precious potential of life on Earth. Pretty good, and empowers, let's try that, empowers Americans to govern themselves and fulfill the full potential, the full and precious potential of life on Earth. All right, so there you have it. Pretty simple exercise, but somewhat difficult. It's going to make you think a little bit. Take your time with it. Don't just hurriedly write down, write down the first thought that comes to your mind, but then go back and look at it and see, does it really address all the things in the point before? Is it really getting to a point that really makes sense to you and that sort of thing? And then when you're done with it, I want you to post it in the discussion board that I've created for you by 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then the reason why I want you to do a discussion board is so that you can go look at what the other students have done and see sort of what they came up with, see how yours compares. And then after that, I will be posting the next exercise, which will bring us back to the earliest areas of rhetoric in the world. All right. Well, thank you very much. And again, as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, and I will get back to you lickety-split. Thanks.